You pull her in for a hug. Nothing dramatic happens, but then you notice it. The way she doesn't let go immediately. The way her body softens instead of stiffens. The way she exhales into you, like she's finally putting something heavy down for a second. And suddenly, the hug feels longer than a hug should feel. Quieter, too. Almost like the room disappears for a moment, and neither of you wants to be the first person to break the connection. And your brain starts racing. Was that different? Did she feel something too? Am I imagining this? Or was that real? Here's the truth most people completely miss. Attraction is rarely loud at first. It doesn't usually announce itself with giant speeches, dramatic flirting, or movie scene confessions. Real attraction shows up in the nervous system before it shows up in words. In tiny moments, subtle body language, unconscious closeness. The human body reveals what the mouth is still trying to hide. And no, bro, you're not reading too much into it for noticing those details. Because when someone feels deeply drawn to you, their body almost always tells the truth first. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the specific kinds of hugs that reveal emotional attraction, physical comfort, and genuine longing beneath the surface. And more importantly, why those small moments matter far more than most people realize. Let's get into it. Most people believe attraction is mainly about obvious signals. Flirting, compliments, eye contact, chemistry you can instantly recognize. But the real truth is that deep attraction often shows up through safety before it shows up through seduction. Because your nervous system always reacts before your mind catches up. That's why a hug matters so much more than people think. A hug is not just physical contact, it's exposure, vulnerability, information. In a few seconds, two nervous systems quietly communicate things neither person is saying out loud. And here's what nobody explains. When someone feels emotionally safe with you, their body stops protecting itself around you. That changes everything. Most couples, or people moving toward becoming a couple, completely miss this because they're looking for exaggerated signals. They're searching for certainty. But attraction is usually softer than that, more human, more unspoken. Sometimes, the clearest sign she's deeply attracted to you is not that she moves toward you aggressively. It's that she relaxes around you completely. Because when someone's walls come down physically, something emotional is usually happening beneath the surface too. And this is where it gets really interesting. 1. The full body melt. Most people in relationships think attraction looks energetic, excited, fast. But one of the strongest signs of genuine attraction is actually relaxation. When she hugs you and her entire body softens into yours instead of staying tense or halfway detached, her nervous system is telling you something important. She feels safe enough to stop monitoring herself for a moment. That matters more than most men realize. Most couples overlook this because they assume chemistry should feel electric all the time. But deep attraction often feels like relief, like your body finally found somewhere it doesn't need armor anymore. Here's the difference. Disconnected version. Quick side hug, hips angled away, one arm only. Her body stays alert the entire time. Connected version. She leans fully into your chest, shoulders loosen, her breathing slows, and something in her is quietly saying, I don't feel guarded around him. That's not just physical closeness, that's emotional openness beginning to form. And when that happens, the space between two people starts feeling less like distance and more like home. 2. She stays 1 second longer. Here's the part no one talks about. The extra second matters. Not because of the length itself, but because humans naturally linger where they feel emotionally pulled. Most couples assume attraction is about initiating contact, but the real signal is often resistance to ending it. That tiny hesitation before she lets go, that pause, that subtle squeeze at the end. Bro, that's usually not accidental. Because attraction creates longing, and longing always tries to stretch connection just a little longer. Your nervous system notices this instinctively, even if your brain can't explain it yet. Think about the contrast. Disconnected version. The hug ends mechanically. Fast release, immediate separation, emotional neutrality. Connected version. She holds for half a second longer than necessary. Maybe her hand drags slowly off your back. Maybe she smiles before pulling away. And internally, her body is saying, I don't want this moment to end yet. Not louder flirting, not dramatic seduction, not rehearsed behavior. Just someone unconsciously staying close because closeness feels good to them. And that's the kind of attraction that becomes real. 3. Her breathing syncs with yours. This is where it gets really interesting. When two people feel emotionally connected, their nervous systems often begin mirroring each other automatically. Heart rate, breathing, physical rhythm, tiny unconscious adjustments. And hugs are one of the clearest places this happens. Most people in relationships never notice this because they're too busy analyzing words. But the body is constantly communicating beneath the surface. If she hugs you and settles into your rhythm instead of rushing through the moment, that's a huge sign of emotional comfort and attraction. Not performance, not politeness, real presence. Here's what it looks like. Disconnected version, quick tap hug, restless energy. She pulls away while mentally focused somewhere else. Connected version. After a second or two, her body slows down. Her breathing matches yours naturally. And her nervous system is quietly registering, I feel calm here. Honestly, man, calm is underrated. Because deep attraction isn't always butterflies. Sometimes it's your body finally stopping its constant scanning for danger. Like taking off a heavy backpack you forgot you were carrying. And that's the shift that makes someone start craving your presence without fully understanding why. 4. She touches you after the hug ends. And here's what changes everything. The strongest attraction signals often happen after the official moment is already over. Most couples focus only on the hug itself, but what happens immediately afterward reveals whether the connection was emotional or merely social. If she keeps physical contact going after the hug ends, touching your arm, resting her hand briefly on your chest, lightly squeezing your shoulder, her nervous system is usually trying to maintain connection instead of closing it. That's important, because emotionally available attraction doesn't rush to disconnect. Look at the contrast. Disconnected version, hug ends, immediate physical separation, energy shuts off instantly. Connected version, she pulls back slowly, but keeps a hand on you for another second. Maybe she looks into your eyes while smiling softly, and beneath the surface, her brain is quietly saying, I still want to feel connected to him. That lingering touch is emotional continuity. It's the body's way of turning towards someone instead of away from them. And when you feel that consistently, the relationship stops feeling transactional and starts feeling deeply real. 5. She buries her face into you. This one is powerful, because humans only expose themselves like this when they feel genuine trust and attraction combined. If she hugs you by pressing her face into your chest, neck, or shoulder, instead of keeping distance between your bodies, that's often a sign her nervous system feels emotionally safe and physically drawn toward you simultaneously. Most people think attraction is all about looking at someone, but deep attraction often creates the opposite impulse too, wanting to disappear into someone for a moment. That's what this is. And no, it's not childish, it's deeply human. Most couples miss the emotional depth of this because they interpret it as cute, instead of understanding what's actually happening psychologically. A person who buries themselves into you is usually lowering their defenses without consciously thinking about it. Here's the contrast. Disconnected version. Polite hug. Emotional distance stays intact. Her body remains self-contained. Connected version. She leans fully into you and tucks herself close without hesitation. And internally, something in her is whispering, I feel protected here. I feel chosen here. That changes people, because the human nervous system remembers where it feels emotionally safe. 6. The silent hug. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Real attraction becomes quieter over time, not louder. Most people assume chemistry always looks playful, flirtatious, energetic. But the deepest forms of connection often feel still, grounded, present, unforced. If she hugs you and neither of you feels pressure to immediately talk, joke, or perform, that silence is not awkwardness, it's comfort. Huge difference. Because silence only feels safe when two people stop fearing disconnection. Think about it. Some hugs feel like obligation, some feel like routine, but others feel like two nervous systems finally resting at the same time. That's rare. Disconnected version. You hug while mentally distracted. One person pulls away quickly to fill the silence. Connected version. Neither of you rushes the moment. The silence feels warm instead of tense. And her inner world is quietly saying, I can just be here with him. Not a communication trick, not a flirting technique, just emotional safety becoming physical. And that's the kind of connection people spend years searching for. 7. She initiates the hug. when emotion is high. Here's the part that reveals the deepest attraction of all. Who does she instinctively move toward when emotions are strongest? Because attraction is not only about desire, it's also about emotional orientation. Who your nervous system reaches for during stress, excitement, sadness, relief, or vulnerability. That tells the truth. Most people in relationships think attraction is tested during romantic moments. But honestly, the clearest answer appears during emotional ones. If she instinctively hugs you after a hard day, after good news, during anxiety, during overwhelm, or when she simply needs grounding, your presence has become emotionally regulating for her. That's massive. Here's the contrast. Disconnected version. Physical affection happens occasionally, but emotional moments stay compartmentalized and private. Connected version. The moment something emotionally intense happens, she reaches for you automatically. And beneath the surface, her nervous system is saying, "You feel like safety to me." Not because you solved everything, not because you're perfect, but because your presence feels emotionally steady. And that's when attraction stops being surface-level chemistry and starts becoming attachment. Real attachment. So if you've experienced these kinds of hugs, don't dismiss them just because they seem small. Small moments build relationships. Tiny gestures, subtle pauses, the way someone relaxes around you, the way they linger, the way their walls quietly come down without words. That's where real connection actually lives. Because this isn't just about hugs, it's about emotional safety, presence, the nervous system learning that love does not have to feel confusing, performative, or earned every second. And when you understand that, you stop chasing exaggerated signals and start recognizing the quiet ones that were meaningful all along. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation to become more emotionally aware, more present, and more attuned to what people are actually communicating beneath the surface. And when you become that kind of person, your relationships stop feeling like constant guessing games and start feeling real. Because the strongest attraction is rarely the loudest. It's the kind that makes someone's body finally feel safe enough to stay. Real intimacy doesn't start when someone says they love you. It starts the moment their nervous system believes it's safe to.